we're back.
Welcome back. So here is the twist of our latest upload, which nobody took notice of. But Ivy, thank you so much for being so observant. This is the full story of what actually happened.
This is what happened on our vacation. Okay. So all we got for Christmas was...
It's my turn to talk.
Mhm.
A little bit of COVID-19. After 3 years of avoiding it and being safe from it, we got the bug. However, it was nothing compared to the way it was for the past 3 years or that other people have experienced. But this is our story. So we landed in Guiyang on the 23rd of December around 1:45 in the morning. And from there, from the airport, we went straight to Sadie's place. And that's where we stayed up until like 6 or 7 in the morning, just catching up on stuff and being safe and staying home. And everybody was feeling perfectly fine.
Yeah, we were fine. We know we were negative. The reason for that is we actually got tested before we flew, just as a safety precaution. And our results came in and we were all negative. We had green health codes.
Yeah, so at the Ningbo airport, they did ask to check our health codes, which has been the case like everywhere you go for the past 3 years. It's got to be green at all times, so we were all good to go. And on the 24th, we only left the apartment around 3 to go to the supermarket for a couple of things and then to supper at a little pub. But this was also evening time and it wasn't very busy and we were still masked up.
Yeah.
So we took all the precautions that we could. And we had dinner there, and then you said you were starting to feel weird when we got home.
Yeah.
But this was also early in the evening, maybe around 7.
Yeah.
7 in the evening.
I was like, no, that drink didn't sit well with me. And then the next day was what, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and that was it. I was down. I was down. I was full on sick, and I was just in bed. I just said, no, I can't do this. I'm in bed.
So yes, I actually made notes of our experience. And that was on the 24th. On the 24th was Christmas. I am the stage. I'm feeling great. My sister-in-law, Alayan, and I went to get our hair done. And Craig was completely out of it. Completely not feeling okay. How were you feeling?
No, I'm fine.
No, that day, how were you feeling?
I was totally drained. I was like, there was zero energy left in my tanks. It was like there's a boat. It's like there was no fuel in my tanks. I was just totally drained. Totally deflated.
So did you feel like you were coming down with the flu? Did you feel like you ate something that was weird? Did you feel like
it felt like the flu. It felt like the flu, but I was totally drained. Even my just to lift my hands it took too much energy.
So
breathing became heavy.
On Christmas Day, we actually had Sadie had planned this whole day of eating and drinking with a whole lot of her friends, and we had places to go to, but we didn't end up going to any of the places because I had to stay home and take care of Craig, and Laya was not going to go out on his own. So Sadie had left us and went to her friends to get lunch and have a whole Christmas lunch with them. And we stayed home with my hair all done up from having it done at the hairdresser in the morning. We came home, we stayed home, and around 3 o'clock, I felt a slight irritation in my throat, but nothing out of the ordinary. Something just like when you're coming down with the flu. Yeah, very slight case of irritation. So I didn't make too much of it. But Craig was completely out. Had you taken meds by then?
Yeah, I was.
What kind of meds?
I was self-medicating. So what I did was I took some cough mixture, just as a precaution, because my throat was very scratchy, and we took paracetamol, and that was about it. Something else, pain meds as well.
And in this case, we had already had our video calls with our families in SA, and we sounded and looked normal. Well, I thought we sounded and looked normal, and no one picked up anything that, you know, we're probably coming down with something, or we're looking a little bit exhausted. Nothing. So we didn't say anything because we also didn't know what it was.
And then, was it that day when we decided we were going to get tested?
Next morning on the 26th, we actually got tested, because by this time I was feeling a little bit more irritation, but no runny nose, no coughing. Oh, I had a bit of a fever, but during the night I must have had like two sessions, like where I felt a slight bit of chill, and then it wore off, and then again in the morning, but still nothing out of the ordinary. We've all had the flu before, we've all had a fever before. It was like that.
Yeah, but the chills, the hot and cold flashes at night was new. It was new to me.
It wasn't new to me.
It was quite extreme.
Yeah, for me, it felt like I've had this before. I've had flus and colds worse than this time. So it wasn't anything new, like it wasn't a new sensation, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. You've all had the flu, you would know that this is a familiar feeling, you've had this before. Yeah. And then, what happened? At 3 o'clock, I took a flu cap. This was 3 o'clock the next day. Yeah, so I took like a flu cap kind of thing, because that was all that we had, and we were not going to go around looking for anything else. Sadie had medication, normal flu medication, and some antibiotics and some cough mixtures, but we know that antibiotics doesn't work for this. But by this time we had already been tested in the morning, and we were waiting for our results to come out that evening. And Laya was fine. He wasn't irritated or coming down with anything. He was his happy, normal, energetic self. And Sadie was also feeling fine. So it was just Craig that was really not okay. And I was slightly not okay, but nothing to be concerned about. My appetite was slightly strained. Well, I didn't want chocolate, so that's how I knew there could be something going on here, because I didn't want to have chocolate. And you?
Me, I didn't have any appetite at all. Me. And I just decided, you know, I need to eat something in order to get the energy levels up. And yeah, I just basically force-fed myself. And I ate very little, even though, yeah, because eating was a bit sore because my throat was so sore.
Yeah, so around 11 o'clock on the 26th, our results came out. And it said positive. So by then we sat up and we decided, well, first we prayed about it, because if this is true, if our results showing positive for COVID and our symptoms are as mild as it is, even with Craig, although he was a little bit more severe than my symptoms were, it was completely mild compared to how we've heard other people experience it. Nothing of the sort. So we were not even too stressed about it, because we know that Psalm 91 was still active. It wasn't where we suddenly decided, oh, now we're going to doubt the Psalms that we've been praying over ourselves ever since COVID struck 3 years ago. We just kept our faith and we did what we needed to do. And we came up with a plan of action, but we could only do anything about that in the morning, as in contact the airlines and extend our return flight dates and times.
To be, just to be more responsible, because being COVID positive, you do not want to travel and put other people at risk. So just stay in your sick bed. And
ethically, it's just
stay
correct to
there.
just stay home, stay where you are based, and let this whole thing wear off. And it takes about 3 to 5 days, I think. In some cases, up to 7 days for the virus to
leave your
exit.
system.
So we were not going to be irresponsible and say, oh, we can still go home because we're wearing masks and we're feeling fine. That was just not going to work. So then what did we have to do? The morning of the 27th, we called the airlines, we changed the dates for a week. No, we were supposed to have returned back to Ningbo on the 27th, which was a Tuesday, but we extended a couple more days up until the 29th, I think it was, or 30th, Friday, same week. And what else? So we just got back to bed, we took some more meds, slept it out, and did we eat anything?
Yeah, we ate.
Just enough to.
So let me tell you about my superwoman. My superwoman decided that she was still looking after me and Lyle, and even though you know how men are, we just turn into big babies, and this time was no different.
Yeah, because I was still making breakfast, getting the laundry done.
I'm making breakfast.
Tidying up the place where I could, because
looking after Lyle.
Yeah, it's just a
And
habit to
talking
stay
about
in the place.
Lyle, he also came down with a bit of a cough, but such a slight cough. He was a little bit hot, but thank goodness we took Calpol with, and just he got off so lightly. I don't even think he turned positive. We didn't get him tested though, because the systems in that city is just not conducive to us loading him on our health code.
Yeah, so there's different rules in different cities. Our health code checks out fine with Lyle as a dependent, but when you go to another city, your phone picks up a location, and then that location resets the whole thing to that city. And then you're going to have to reload yourself with all your details and then add Lyle on as a detail, and that was just like not happening. For some reason, we were just not able to add him on. So it was fine, like we got tested, we got our results, and we just tried to keep him as safe as possible. So we had to sleep in separate rooms because my symptoms were so minor. And I did sleep with a mask for 2 nights. That was like an experience on its own. But I wasn't too paranoid about spreading it to Lyle. He was still fine and safe. And Craig was actually in his own room having a little bit of a worse time than us.
Yeah.
He's coming.
So Wednesday 28th, the steaming session. Craig had steamed up the night before. And I was like, let me just put Lyle to bed, and when he's in bed or when he's fast asleep, I'll think about coming out. I wasn't really interested in doing the steaming thing. I cannot stand too humid, steamed up places and situations, but I know that steaming does help for a bit. I don't know how you felt after your steaming session.
I was in there for a full hour, and I actually really enjoyed it. And the reason why I enjoyed it was because I just relaxed, and Sadie put in some aromatherapy oils, and it was just really nice. It actually opened up my chest.
Yeah, well, I didn't feel any different when I did have my session. I really didn't enjoy it, I must say. But other factors to consider that I've made notes of is that I've already had at this stage, I've already had 3 vaccinations. So I don't know if it was because of that my symptoms were mild, and Craig was not allowed to take the vaccinations because of his heart condition, and Lyle obviously is still too young for this. However, there are vaccinations now out for kids. But personally, we think it's not a good idea to give the give it to kids just yet. It's still too new. I feel it hasn't been tested enough, and I don't feel that kids really need this kind of vaccination just yet. Because the kids that we know who've had this virus have not had the vaccination, and they have recovered quicker than the rest of their family members.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same. Well, Laya didn't get the vaccine. He didn't get the vaccine, and he didn't get the virus either. And he was around both of us who were positive.
Yep.
Next thing is that so with you having a heart condition and being tested positive for COVID,
Mm-hmm.
tell us more about that.
Okay, so be it the flu, be it COVID, it affects your heart muscle. And what effectively happened for me was it really hurt my heart, and I went through phases where my heart was like really sore. It felt as if my heart was in a vice, and it really hurt. It really hurt, to the point where I was almost tearing up. It was that painful.
Because his bags under your eyes were like a whole lot more
Pronounced. Yeah.
and they were actually looking blue.
It was also because of the pain and lack of sleep. Because of the hot and cold flushes, I was actually not in the mood for sleeping. Because I just couldn't sleep, it was just too painful at some times. But, having friends and family that really took strain with COVID-19 with the first few phases, and I think that we got a very lucky.
Absolutely. And which brings me through to a scripture that came to mind when I was making my notes to do this video, is that all things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are called according to His purpose, which is Romans 8:28. And by the time we return home, I'll be quiet. By the time we returned back to Nepal was on the 30th of December, which was a Friday. We got home, we disinfected everything. Luggage and everything that had already been washed, we set aside, and clothes that we were wearing that evening all went to the machine. Our jackets got steamed, and we took a shower, took more meds, and I was actually fine. I was feeling like completely recovered from this virus, and still at this point I had no runny nose, no headaches. Appetite was still not quite there yet, like I said, because I didn't feel like having chocolate. That's how I know that something is not okay. But other than that, I was fine. I was fine. We gave him some Calpol for just in case he feels a bit irritable during the course of the night, and it was a long journey. And that was about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was about it. So, and that was our experience with COVID-19.
And we didn't mention anything to our families because everyone was busy with being out and about and having events to attend to and having family time and doing stuff and being in the middle of nowhere doing
holiday.
What was it?
Everybody was on
gorge, zip line,
zipline,
all of that. So we didn't want to bother them with, oh, now we can't be positive with COVID, and it was just not necessary to broadcast it at the time. But the only person who did notice was Ivy.
Can you say what, Mama?
Thank you for being so observant, for being the only one who cares about us. So by the time our family gets to watch this video, they might feel a little bit upset with us. But don't worry, it was all in the name of love. We didn't want to worry anyone. We didn't want anyone to be over concerned and stop enjoying your holiday vacation time. It was okay. It was okay. So that's the story. story.
And give my gift.
Yep.
That's
the story.
We're still making a video.
And give what Mama.
So that was our story, and that's our upload, and we have all recovered completely 100% now. You still have any symptoms?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. We're totally negative now. We're both very healthy again. Yeah. So it's like it wasn't even there.
And that's all for us.
Yeah.
From
all
us.
for us.
Have a happy new year.
Cheers.
Bye.